The movie begins with scientist Control receiving a coded message. After decoding it, he sees someone claiming knowledge of Control's transfiguration project, saying they have a plan to bring it to life as the only thing powerful enough to avert an imminent disaster. The scene then shifts to astrophysicist Michael Swafford, discussing his book, In the End There Was Light, on a TV show. Swafford describes light as the most powerful cosmic event and focuses on gamma-ray bursts, GRBs. He predicts a GRB will be humanity's final sight before extinction. Swafford explains that a GRB occurs when a massive star collapses into a black hole that consumes the dying star at an astonishingly fast rate. The excess energy is expelled as intense radiation beams. He warns a dying star in our galaxy could trigger such a destructive GRB that would directly impact Earth. A scientist named Control needs a subject for their project and scans the psychological profiles of many people. Joseph Stedman passes the tests. Joseph remembers his past with his pregnant wife and daughter, Zoe, at the beach. He keeps a special stone collected by Zoe in a box and shows her a lighthouse that blinks, "I love you," in a specific sequence. Meanwhile, Control has been secretly observing Joseph for nearly 2 years. Joseph works as a watchman, seeks therapy for depression and anger control, and Control also monitors Joseph's daughters. Zoe, now 25, is strong and independent, while her sister Raya struggles with substance abuse and is influenced by her boyfriend. Zoe's attempts to help Raya are met with resistance, and it's revealed that their mother passed away, and Joseph left his daughters, causing resentment from Zoe. Control has his men watching 3 individuals, including Zoe and her boyfriend, who was previously interviewed. As they kiss, their books fall, leading to a game Zoe used to play with her sister. They would drop a book and interpret the page it opened to as a fortune. The boyfriend reads a passage about apoptosis, the death of a cell, which can protect an organism by eliminating virus-infected cells. Meanwhile, Joseph receives a 1-year chip, signifying a year of sobriety. Joseph watches Zoe, approaches her with a gift, and suggests they have dinner together. Zoe advises him to focus on Raya, who needs more attention. Despite his efforts, Joseph struggles to connect with Raya. As Zoe leaves, Joseph slips his gift into her handbag. Zoe's boyfriend intervenes, leading to a confrontation where Joseph hits him. Later, Zoe tries to call Raya but gets no response, which worries her as they usually talk every Sunday. Zoe's boyfriend tries to reassure her, but she lashes out at him, questioning his presence after her father's violent outburst. He calms her, affirming his love and commitment to stay. Meanwhile, Joseph also attempts to call Raya without success. He stops his car and reminisces about his past with his wife and daughters. His wife had cancer and asked him to stay strong for their girls and keep the family together, a promise he feels he has failed to keep. Unbeknownst to Joseph, someone is hiding in his car. They render him unconscious, abduct him, and implant a device in his eyes. They can communicate with him and wake him up using a disturbing sound. Control reminds Joseph that when his wife passed away, he sought divine guidance but found none. Joseph discovers a gun in a case he finds while listening to a speech he gave when he achieved 1 year of sobriety. He experiences a sharp pain in his eyes. As Control explains, they've implanted a device on his optic nerve, allowing them to see what he sees and vice versa. They show him his daughter, Raya, struggling with addiction. Control has been observing his family and questions why he gave up so easily, leading to broken promises and a shattered family. Control offers to help him rebuild, but first asks if Joseph believes in him. Joseph affirms his belief. A woman enters, and Control instructs Joseph to shoot her or risk his daughter's life. With only 5 seconds to decide, Joseph apologizes and pulls the trigger, only to find the gun empty. He sees his daughter is safe, and Control declares himself as Joseph's higher power. The woman then tells Joseph they have big plans for him before stunning him into unconsciousness. Upon waking, Joseph finds himself locked in a car trunk. He calls 911 to report his kidnapping, but the responder threatens his daughter's lives if he contacts authorities. Control asks if he understands, and he confirms. They release him and leave a bag in his car for his next task. Joseph asks to see his daughters, and Control complies. He then drives to a specified location and stops at a house. Control instructs him to retrieve a tablet from the bag and identify a man, Charles Marguerite, the president of Redlock, where Joseph works. Control tells him to wear a mask and place a small black box on the security panel. A woman hacks the system and unlocks the doors. Nervously, Joseph enters and goes to the 3rd floor as instructed. Control is watching through a drone that can see through buildings. Joseph is told to take a gun from the bag and threaten Charles unless he opens his safe. Hesitant, Joseph is shown a video of someone pointing a gun at his sleeping daughter. He enters Charles's room, wakes him, and takes him to his safe. As instructed by Control, he retrieves a laptop from the safe and authorizes it. Control instructs Joseph to scan his finger, revealing a compatible sequence that shocks Charles. Joseph is told to place a small metallic LED device on the laptop, allowing Sabby to copy all the data. When Control orders Joseph to make Charles kneel, an argument ensues, and Charles hits Joseph, disrupting the optic device connection temporarily. Charles takes the gun, and Joseph reveals that he works at the facility and that Control is communicating with him. As Joseph reaches the window, he is shot by a drone. Joseph is then instructed to cut off Charles' thumb. He heads to the Redlock Research Laboratory, while Sabby sends mini drones through the air vent. Joseph dons an equalizing mask from the bag, and the drones release a gas called B-19, a classified, undetectable chemical weapon. This gas bonds with air particles on a subatomic level, creating a controlled seismic vacuum and suffocating everyone in the building. Control justifies these deaths as necessary. Control tells Joseph that his daughter can be spared if he reaches the main facility in 4 minutes. On his way, he's horrified to see everyone dead. Control justifies the deaths as necessary for the bigger picture. Once the gas dissipates, Joseph removes his mask, uses Charles' thumb to access the core, and is instructed to switch on a machine. Upon entering, the door locks behind him. The machine generates dangerous electromagnetic waves that affect Joseph. Control explains that this is due to his unique DNA, which allows him to survive the experiment. His body absorbs the waves, causing a change in his DNA and resulting in a massive explosion that destroys the facility. This experiment was initially rejected due to its high risk, but with the help of an unknown person, Control was able to conduct it. When asked if the experiment was successful, Control confirms it was. The explosion attracts police and news reporters, and the news is broadcasted. Zoe and Michael see the news on TV, leading Zoe to break down and regret not having a proper conversation with her father. Joseph wakes up in his house and, after struggling, frees himself from a bag. He starts yelling at Control, who explains the 4 fundamental forces: gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak nuclear forces. As Joseph grows angrier, his body releases energy, causing him to break a wall. Control tells Joseph that he has transformed his greatest weakness, his anger, fear, and anxiety, into a source of infinite power. He needs Joseph to use this power to keep his family together and pass tests designed to unlock his potential. When Joseph finds his car missing, Control taunts him about his deceased wife, which angers Joseph further. This anger triggers electromagnetic waves that start a nearby bike. Control explains that the angrier Joseph gets, the more power he unlocks. Control instructs Joseph to ride the bike and confront Nico, the man who took in his daughter, Rhea, after Joseph left and got her addicted to drugs. Joseph arrives at a dark place filled with girls and encounters Nico, who knocks him unconscious. When he wakes up, he's tied up. Nico, recognizing him as Rhea's father, shows him a sex tape of Rhea, which angers Joseph and triggers a power within him that causes an explosion. His body briefly becomes visible from the outside before returning to normal. He's unable to fully unlock his power, which requires a higher stress level. Nico stabs him, but the knife becomes extremely hot. Nico shoots at him, but the bullets only create holes. Nico flees, and Joseph helps a girl escape. Nico attempts to attack Joseph, who shoots at him but misses. Control shows Joseph footage from the sex tape, which angers him and releases a massive amount of energy, killing Nico and throwing off a car. Confused, Joseph fails to fully unlock his power, disappointing Control. The police arrive and arrest Joseph. During the interrogation, they ask if he's a terrorist involved in the annihilation of Redlock and the recent explosion. Following Control's instructions, Joseph tells them he works for a higher power and warns them about a bomb at the shipyard. Control tells Joseph that if he finds the bomb, everyone will live. In an attempt to free himself, Joseph causes an explosion at the police station and falls down. Joseph's transformation fails again. When a policeman approaches him, he uses his powers to send the officer flying. He then drives to a shipyard. News of a third explosion at the police station is broadcasted, and the police are in pursuit of Joseph, who was believed to have died in the Redlock blast. Zoe and Michael are shocked by this news. Control gives Joseph a clue that the bomb is in a shipping crate. Frustrated by the police chase, Joseph's energy erupts, destroying his car. He then flies towards the shipyard, leaving the police confused. The news reports describe a trail of energy slicing through towns and homes. The light then goes off, and Control's men kidnap Zoe and Michael. Meanwhile, the police close nearby roads and search for the bomb. Joseph reaches the shipyard, lifts the containers and the bomb into the air, and his body transforms into electromagnetic energy. When the bomb explodes in the air, a piece hits a plane. Joseph uses his powers to prevent the plane from crashing, guides a train past a broken bridge caused by the containers, and places the plane on a building. Joseph goes to Zoe's house but doesn't find her. Control reveals that he has kidnapped Zoe and uses his powers to track the location of the live footage. He arrives at the location, creates a protective bubble around Zoe and Michael, and causes an explosion that destroys the entire place. He then reunites with Zoe, who is confused and scared. He reassures her and promises to retrieve her sister, Rhea. It's revealed that Michael was part of Control's plan all along. As gamma rays approach Earth, Control orders Michael to shoot Zoe. Michael complies, surrenders, and is instantly killed by Joseph. Seeing Zoe dying, Joseph promises to make everything right. Control shows him footage of Rhea being shot, which angers Joseph and triggers his powers. His electromagnetic energy spreads and covers the entire Earth, making him appear godlike. He can now see, hear, and know everything on Earth. Control acknowledges that he has given Joseph omnipotence and created a god through him. However, an enraged Joseph kills Control. The fate of Michael, Control, and Sabi is understood as a sacrifice to create a god who can save Earth from the gamma rays. Joseph absorbs the gamma rays, saving Earth, and revives both his daughters. They reunite, with their omnipresent father watching over them, marking the end of the movie. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.